Talk to me a little bit about your timeline a little bit. Let's kind of rewind the clock back a little. You retire back in Ghost 2014, not long right after the second place finish at COD Champs under Envy. What exactly took place from that moment to where we are now?
Yeah, I'm an old man. I'm 31 now. I'm like a grandpa in this community. So yeah, I joined Envy about a year before the Ghost Champs. So we played Black Ops 2 Champs, we got secondary, and we played Ghost Champs, we got secondary. Some stuff happened behind the scenes with the team. Ended up me getting dropped from the team. At that point in time, it's been the second time I was dropped in like the span of like 5 months. So I was like, okay, well, I was 25 at the time, and like I was 3 or 4 years older than everyone else, and this is a job to me, right? So like I'm living in the States under a visa, and I have all these kind of commitments to this organization. So joining another team didn't really seem like a good feat for me. So I got approached by Jay Perrier, who shout out to him, great guy for community Call of Duty in the world. He actually contacted me and told me, hey, there's this new studio that's trying to make Call of Duty games, and they might be interested in having you. I'm like, okay, well, let's check it out. I kind of, long story short, I did like an internship with them for 4 months, ended up turning into a job, and I was at Sledgehammer Games for 5.5 years, creating games, and that was an awesome experience, no doubt. When I heard about the CDL League, I can't lie, I got really interested. I still enjoyed doing what I did at Sledgehammer, and then I have nothing bad to say about what I did there. What they do there is great. Everyone out there is pretty cool. But when the CDL kind of popped up again, I was like, oh, look, this is kind of big now, right? Like the franchising and everything like that is getting to a level where I have a chance to kind of come back and make something out of this in the long run. I always saw myself kind of coming back in esports at some point in my life. I just didn't really know when it was. So when I saw the opportunity and I started talking to Hastro, it was like, oh yeah, this might work out. It took a while with visa stuff because I'm Canadian. I grew up, like literally, I was born in nowhere outside the border, and I have to go through all these pains and troubles. But yeah, no, it was cool. Everything's turned out great so far, and I've been working, like you said, I've been working the team for a few weeks now, and got my first event under my wings. And
yeah, absolutely.
Everything's going pretty good so far.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, talk to me a little bit when you get the call from Stro, right? You guys start having those conversations. Was there any hesitation at all to kind of join this team, the roster that this particular group has, to be the role that you're in? Was there any hesitation at all that thought, maybe this isn't the right move, or?
No, not really. It took a while to kind of like commit to something. We had to go back and forth with like different ideas on roles for myself, and like where would I come in and be able to help the team the most possible. And we kind of settled in on head coach for the most of it. I have a good way of discussing things with players. I've done it in the past, and let's say in a more aggressive way when I competed. I've learned a lot behind the scenes and the Sledgehammer Games, and just kind of like more about management and like understanding how you really have a kind of a work environment with people and making it to where it's positive, like trying to find a way to make the negative things a positive thing and make players feel like they're learning, and making sure they understand in ways that doesn't really tick them off, right? Because everyone's really kind of fragile, for lack of a better term, in the esports world. Nobody likes being told that they're doing something really that bad or so on and so forth. So I've learned a lot to try and mold that and incorporate that into my ways of teaching and whatnot and helping players out. So yeah, it's definitely turned to fruition. I feel like I have a hard time making people mad now, which is cool. Like it's a really kind of a good element to have, I think, for a coach and for anyone that works with players.
Now, franchising was obviously announced a while back, and as someone who has been in the community, since the beginning, I know you already talked about it being like the grandfather, if you will, of Call of Duty. What were your initial thoughts on Call of Duty making that step? Were there any kind of worries that you had with the franchising now being kind of in play?
Not really, dude. I was jealous. I was like, where was this when I played? Like, I mean, if we go back like 10 years from now, that's when I started competing with a bunch of the OGs. I mean, Clay and Krim been around for that long. I never really got to kind of get my piece of the pie, so to say, on the playing front. But no, I don't. I think it has a big potential to kind of come to fruition. It's just a matter of, we need to see games get on a level where esports doesn't feel as different as the casual experience. And that's always been the issue for Call of Duty in my book, from a kind of, even from a dev standpoint to a playing standpoint, is that if a random Joe 514 shops on the game and then he's like, oh, these pros not using claymores or not using grenade launchers, I use all that stuff. What is this? What am I watching?
Right.
And that's the biggest kind of fight we have. And that, I think it's going to be the biggest kind of hump the CDL has to find a way to kind of come around, is a way for people that just kind of start watching, for them to kind of assess and understand and relate to the players that they're watching. Because I mean, just like the KD from standpoint, right? Like Scumpy got an amazing KD. He went 1.3 this event. And you're like, 1.3? I can get like 5.4 in a pub. I'm like, I'm much better than this guy.
Yeah.
And we've been dealing with those issues ever since I played. So it's just a matter of like, I don't know how exactly the CDL is going to take on in that fight. But we still have a really good kind of core community, and the viewership's been pretty good so far this year. The franchises definitely help the players and understanding like the competition has never been this strong. And I can tell you that even from like just watching for the whatever month I've been here and involved with, like even the past years, I was still keeping up with everything. And there's never been this much competition because of the fact that all the players, the good players, are on 12 teams now. Yeah. So, and we'll have to see how that expands and whatever player count changes next year and so on and so forth. But we're also seeing a great kind of a young player kind of coming up as well. So that's kind of making the veterans really have to work, because if they want to keep their job, they have to keep working. And a lot of these guys haven't really set up themselves for do other things. So it's like, this is their gig, right? They have to make this work. So yeah, no, I think CDL is all good, dude. I'm excited for how long it's gonna. I mean, hopefully it lasts forever. But it has very kind of a strong potential line, and the people at the helm like Joanna and all the people that are working Casey, like those people know what they're doing. Like they know what they're talking about. They've been through it with different environments that are similar to this, so it's exciting.